For this episode, I'm going to be discussing astrology, solely astrology, and pretty much like how far we can go into a chart. Like how far do you guys want to go into your chart? How far do you guys want to know into your own future? Versus just living life, you know? What is that quote? C'est la vie. Wait, c'est la vie? C'est la vie. C'est la vie. That reminded me. Do you guys remember that Irish band? There was this Irish band that came out in the 90s. And, yeah, that was random. Anyway. So, yeah, I don't know what episode this is off the top of my head, but here we go. So, as a psychic, sometimes I get these dreams, okay? And I know that they're, like, I guess, like future telling. They're premonitions. And, but here's the thing. What I've come to learn as a psychic is that they're not in chronological order. Basically, even as a psychic, I don't know what time frame this dream is talking about. I also don't know if at this point, I do know what type of dreams are just symbolism for energy that's coming my way. Like, okay, tomorrow's going to be a bad day, and this dream that I'm having isn't just like, a future telling of what my life is going to be like moving forward. I hope that makes sense. So, for example, I saw this, I dreamed of, I basically saw this plane in the water, and you could tell that it crashed, okay? And the way I saw it, it was like, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it, and I'm not going to channel it because I don't want to know. That's where I'm deciding. Even as a psychic, I don't want to know. However, when you look at my natal chart, you can see that I have Chiron in the 9th house, which can speak of traveling, which can speak of having a fear of traveling, which I have literally always had since I was a child. And then I also have Mars in the 8th house in Gemini, in a Gemini degree, which speaks of accidents. And I've been in several. And then I have like Saturn in the 3rd house in a traveling karmic type of degree, along with Uranus and Neptune. So it basically screams of incidences with traveling karmically. So, and I've definitely experienced these things, such as, getting in accidents, as well as traveling and having delays, traveling during Mercury retrograde. I've definitely experienced all of that. I've missed my flight before. So anyway, so the list goes on. But then I think of that flight, and, and I could technically, looking at my chart, I could see something like that happening, right? But when we look at our natal chart, these planets, just like tarot cards, they provide more than one message, right? So they're, for all of you that don't realize, if you're into astrology, I'm sure you do, all of the planets, and I believe personally, the asteroids as well, they're all interconnected. There's no way that they're not connected in some way. They're all telling a story together. And it just depends which story you want to find out about. So, do you want to find out how you're going to make money? Do you want to find out how your love life turns out? Do you want to find out how you passed away? You can literally see all of this because it is your blueprint. But the question is, should you? Should you? And this is what a lot of, in my opinion, good astrologers do client, the heads up, for their solar return reading that, hey, be careful while traveling this year. I'm not saying that at all, but I'm saying that should you guys try to figure out certain things in your own chart that maybe you shouldn't, maybe you should just live your life and not overthink it. I think so, definitely, most definitely. I did not do this. I did the opposite. And even with the potential information, because it's just potential, it's not definitely definite because there's free will, right? And like I just said, these planets speak more than one message. And with free will, they can go down in different ways, saying very similar storylines, but differently. I don't think it's worth it at the end of the day to go down that rabbit hole. I just don't. How far are you guys willing to go with astrology? I think the purpose of astrology is great for healing purposes, especially when you're new to the healing world, the spiritual community, or becoming spiritual and trying to evolve or trying to learn more about yourself, or if you're going through a dark night of the soul. I think astrology is so important, especially with specific placements you guys may have. Like somebody like myself, Scorpio and Pluto in the first house. This is somebody who is forever changing, and definitely growing up did not feel connected to who they were. So when they read up on astrology, it's somehow there is a connection with what resonates with them and a memory of those moments while growing up that triggered them and changed them and kind of put them on a different course from the original course they were on, which is, in my opinion, why they feel so lost while growing up, because it's they're not on their original path. Because usually people with Pluto in the first house, they're usually people, well, I guess children, that have this karmic path of being controlled while growing up. And obviously we can say that all kids are controlled, right? They need to be. I'm not saying that's a little more in depth. A lot more weird things happen to people with Pluto in the first house. And it takes you off your course. And you kind of don't really remember who you are or the things you like, because these things you disconnected from them as a child. Or it's you never got to figure it out because you disconnected from yourself as a child and you grew into somebody more so that you weren't. And I feel everybody has that journey, right? Trying to rediscover who we really are. But there's just a difference when Pluto is in the first house. I don't know how to describe it. But anyway, so with astrology, I think with transits, right, or even a solar chart, solar return chart. I think even those things, I think there's nothing wrong with knowing what type of energies are coming your way and how to work to them in the best to your advantage, especially when there is an auspicious moment, a better opportunity coming your way, and those really do exist. However, I also really truly believe in setting it and forgetting it. I really do. I really, really do. So that way you're able to not live your life based off of a transit, based off of what some astrologer told you to do or some psychic suggested. I think for those bigger events that are supposed to happen, I think, set a reminder for sure. But I don't think it's go. I'm just being honest. And this is coming from somebody who is a psychic. This is coming from somebody who is into astrology and channels this energy and knows that it's a real thing and that it is what creates us, the collective, like, and creates our journey here on Earth, creates that pathway. But I think this is where we may change things in our lives that maybe don't really resonate with us at that time. You know, I've said this before in other videos that it's kind of like when we're children and we get messages from adults who are trying to give us life lessons, and that's always going to be a thing, right? And it's important, but they don't hit us for the most part than when we're a kid. It's because it's not meant to. It's not meant to resonate. That message will resonate with us when our soul is ready to hear the message. I think the same thing should be a thing for energy in general, with the shift of the cosmos. Like, what I mean is, I worded that wrong. I think we should allow ourselves to shift gradually in energy and evolve over time at the pace that our soul intended to. And I think sometimes when we learn about astrology or tarot or psychic stuff, we up it up. We up it up. Oh my God. We up it a notch. And when we do that, I think you're asking for trouble. It's just like anything. It's almost like when you have errands to do and you're trying to rush the errand, or you're rushing the process, and the process isn't meant to get rushed. Even though we know that if we get to this specific energy in our life, we will obtain X, Y, and Z, and we really, really want X, Y, and Z, and it's like, that's not how it goes, and there's a reason why this is a thing. Because somewhere within us, we really will enjoy the journey, the path. But you gotta let life be life. You really gotta go. You really gotta go with the flow. And even if life isn't going in the direction you want it to, you aren't able to manifest the things you want to, you kind of just got to throw your hands up and believe that everything is happening for you, and just stay in that energy until you see that change. Because what I do believe is that if you're putting in all that work and you're really manifesting and you're thinking those thoughts, like you are acting as if you already have these things that you want, and you're creating that shift in energy within yourself, right? And you're not trying to manipulate the universe, and you don't see things changing for you. It's either you're not really self-aware and you're really not seeing what's not changed within you, or there's something karmically going on where your soul has signed up for this time frame where you're intentionally not meant to do things, not do things, but get whatever it is you want, because you're just supposed to maybe do nothing, or maybe just be in the moment so you can stop moving, stop, trying to make things happen. Have you guys, I think these are the questions we need to ask ourselves when this happens. Like, have you ever gone through what it is you guys are currently going through? When you're not able to manifest and you're doing all the work, think about what it is you are experiencing instead of the thing you're not experiencing. Have you ever gone through that before? And if the answer is yes, I would ask you, what are you not seeing? What are you not realizing about this moment? Or these years, or these, I don't know, months? What do you think your higher self is asking you to learn right now? Like, what would make the most sense? Because it doesn't make any logical sense as to why you guys aren't able to create the life you guys want. So what do you think is really going on? And obviously this is the spiritual side to looking at things. Because if you guys are doing all the material things, you guys are, I don't know, whatever it is you guys are trying to manifest, as long as you guys are doing the physical things and nothing's happening physically, I really feel like you guys got to look at it spiritually. That's what I mean by, like, balancing the spiritual and the material realm. It's very important to do that, and I feel like people who aren't even spiritual are able to manifest things in their life. They balance both of these things, whether it's like they're super religious and they go to church on Sundays and they do charity work and they love what they do. That is definitely manifesting the spiritual and the material realm. And they're genuine, they like giving back. So, yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about that randomly. I also think that if you see with a solar chart return reading that you guys have a bad year ahead, or let's say a rough year ahead, or you see that you're not potentially going to be able to manifest what it is you want, I think also if you don't have a strong enough mindset, you guys may create what it is you're seeing in front of you, that solar chart return reading, which is why maybe you guys do stay stagnant, and maybe you aren't able to create that life you want to live. Or maybe there's something more spiritual to it. But my point was that I think if you guys don't see things you want to see, it shouldn't get you depressed. It shouldn't get you in a negative mind thought. And I know a lot of astrologers talk about this because it's part of the healing process with astrology, the motivational factor. There's always spiritual information through the hard aspects of astrology. And that would be that if you see something in your chart that you don't like, you're going to be able to manifest what it is you want based off the information you have in front of you. So if you're seeing that, love isn't coming this year, or you see that money isn't coming this year, whatever it is, you guys are going to literally need to get into that energy, that frequency of doing things to create that energetically. You need to act as if you already have it. You can't always be putting in so much energy into these things, because then it does the opposite effect. It means you don't have it, right? So if you were, constantly acting needy because you want that love, you want that significant other, you want it so bad, well, then you're putting that frequency out, and by law of attraction, you're either not going to get it or you're going to get a partner, but it's going to be a karmic partner. You see the difference? But if you act as if you already have this person, which I know is hard, I know it's difficult, I'm not saying it's easy, but and this is part of it. This is part of like a spiritual journey of trying to find your soulmate. Because in order to get your soulmate, you have to be your own soulmate first. So you have to give yourself that love. You have to get excited about being with yourself. You have to learn what things you like. You have to be able to, I I don't want to say, like, go out to dinner by yourself. I don't want to say that. I don't think that's everybody's journey. But, you know what I mean? Like, gain confidence on your own without somebody reassuring you. You have to do all those things on your own. It's important. And even if it doesn't come that year, if you continue to stay on that energy, you may see it in the next solar chart reading. And even then, you got to remember that there's transits involved. There's so much involved with astrology, which is why astrologers charge a lot of money. Because it's your natal chart, it is your progress chart, it's your solar return chart, and then it's transit. What is going on this month? What's going on this week? And how is it affecting your planet in this house, in your natal chart, in your progress chart? So, you know, you've got to keep all that in mind, that you guys may not be seeing something, or maybe you didn't order the right reading, you know, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like with astrology it could get a little bit much, and I feel like you got to have self-control with it and let certain things go, or use it correctly. And I feel like this is why I think I'm a little nervous. Like, I'm really happy where we're all going with spirituality, like with astrology and tarot and all that stuff. I think it's going to be slowly but surely more popular, more accepting, and, you know, I think it already is, honestly, but more so. I'm a little nervous in the fact that, you know, there's a reason why this stuff is considered to be like occult knowledge, mysticism, esoteric. You know, these are supposed to be secret teachings for a reason. And the reason is because can you handle the information you get? Because it is big information. And obviously, I don't think these general readings on YouTube, like, I think those things get you thinking, which is the point of esoteric reading. But when you get personal readings, if you're not ready to handle that information, I think you can send your psyche in an overdrive, and you guys can possibly hold yourself back. And this is why all of this type of information used to be secret. Because it is true. It is true. These things do affect us. The collective is the cosmos, the transit, the cosmos. And that's all of us as humans, and it affects us every single day. That's why it's like we all have some battle going on. We're all fighting some battle, and we just don't know about it, right? I know I'm boxing now behind, but I don't care. We're all very, very similar. And that would be why. That's the point of being here on Earth. Not everybody has that same journey, though, in trying to figure that part out. That we all, like, having that understanding and having compassion for other people. But I think it would be wise to use astrology for information you guys believe you can handle. And really, like, accepting that. And if you guys get information you don't hear, being able to change that with free will. So you guys can manifest what it is you want. Or maybe learning more about that. Maybe why the reason your soul would sign up to not get maybe the life you guys think you want, or this, that, and the next. Maybe that's part of your journey, is to contemplate that. Does that really resonate with who you guys are? So yeah, that's what I got for you guys. I hope this helps in some way. All right, bye.